All right, version 8.1. The event number 1 is going to be a limited time series featuring BMW M2 Competition. So there's going to be 25 gold to be won by going through this limited time series, and also, of course, win the new car BMW M2 Competition, which, by the way, is worth how much? 300 gold. So the PR goes from 28.2 base PR all the way up to 47.7 fully upgraded. Service time is, as usual, 3 hours. And this limited time series will require you to bring the PR up to 42.7 to complete it. At least that's according to what they say on their site. And the limited time series currently open here on in US. It's January 6th of 2020, Monday, and it is available for essentially 10 days. So it runs through the 16th of January, Thursday. So this time they are giving us the schedule, I feel like, based on the kind of my region, the Western Hemisphere, which is a little unusual. I'm used to seeing those dates based on Australian time, where they're located. But seems, yeah, all right. I'll go with that. So let's hop in and confirm all the information they have on this series. BMW M2 Competition Championship. Earn a 2018 BMW M2 competition by 100% completing the special limited time series, powered by a variant of the M3's fearsome twin turbo engines. The M2 competition is, as its name suggests, ready to dominate the track. All right. Yeah, if it's got an M3 engine in this tiny M2, you can imagine what it can do, right? So, all right, so here's the breakdown of 25 gold rewards. So we'll see how much this thing actually ended up costing. Let's see, considering the car's cost is 150. Car's cost is not 150, 300. And then the total reward is 25. So combined is 325. You divide that in half, 160, like 2.5, right? So that's about what I'm anticipating the upgrade cost is gonna be. So let's jump in and find out, shall we? So here we go. First thing first, let's use gold to complete the series immediately. Get 25 gold and pick up the car temporarily. We'll return it once we are done with this video, and we'll run through it properly. But so base PR 28.2, and let's jump to the final tier, tier 15. We got a cup at Catalunya National, 5 laps, and let's check out what the PR requirement is. It's 42.7. So yeah, as they were saying, 42.7 is accurate. So now how many upgrades available? 28 upgrades total available. All right, so here we go. Let's check. First engine is gonna be 26,600. All right, so let's get that done. And then next we got drivetrain, 24,700 racing dollars. All right, so not the most expensive, but not the cheapest either. And these are all 1 hour wait on these, with the base PR starting from 28.2, and we'll see where we end up. So for body upgrade, it's 19,600. So we'll get that going. Suspension, 22,700. All right, get that. And next, we got exhaust, about fairly comparable to suspension as always, 22,400 this case. Next, brakes, 17,300, the cheapest of all upgrades as always. And finally, tires and wheels, 20,800. So that is the total of 154,100. So not the most expensive. And let's use the gold to get it done right away and find out what the PR is. It's going to be 33. All right, so that is a boost of 4.8 PR point. And let's check if we can get through the tier 4 with the racing dollar upgrades alone. And the PR requirement is 33.3. So we are 0.3 PR point shy. So I wonder once again, if you decide to use the PR, the decimal point glitch with certain language settings, I wonder if you'd be able to claim the... It wasn't much gold though for first like 25% completion, right? So I don't know. But let's find out the real question here. How much is the second tier, which is most likely going to be all gold upgrades? All right, so here we go. 26 for engine. All right, and that does unlock the next tier racing dollar upgrade, as you might expect. 25 for drivetrain. And then body is going to be 20. All right. Next, suspension is going to be 22. All right. And then exhaust is going to be another 22. As I was saying earlier, they're fairly comparable, exhaust and suspension. Brakes, we got 18. And then finally, tires and wheels, 20. So the cost of these gold upgrades, second tier, which is most likely all we're gonna need in terms of gold upgrades, total is 153 gold. All right, so considering that we get 25 of it back, we're spending the net cost of 128 gold. So that's not too bad, right? And that brings the PR up to 37.9. And then, of course, we need to bring it up to 42.7. So that is exactly another 4.8 PR point that we need from this next set of third tier upgrades. So without further ado, let's get these third tier racing dollar upgrades, which are 4-hour wait on these. Starting with engine, we got 59,800. All right, and then drivetrain is going to be 55,600. And then body, 44,200. Suspension, 51,000 even. Exhaust, 50,400. There we go. Brakes, 39,000 even. And that is the last upgrade in that category. And tires and wheels, 46,800. So that is third tier upgrades. Total is 346,800 racing dollars. And combine that with the first tier racing dollar upgrades, that totals up to be, let's see, 500,900 racing dollars, right? And the total wait time would be 5 hours. And of course, the second tier gold upgrades were totaling 153 gold. But let's make sure this gets us there. I have a feeling it will. Exactly 42.7. There you go. So 3 upgrades across the board is as often it's the case, or it's been the case with these new car limited time series. This car is no exception. So there's the total cost that this car will cost you to win it. The net cost 128 gold. But remember, the car is worth 300 gold if you're to buy it straight up. And if you do take advantage of the showcase discount, that'll be 20%, so that'll be 60 gold discount, so you can get it for 240 gold if you miss out on this run of limited time series. So that is still almost costing you almost twice as much, and you're not getting any upgrades with when you purchase the car that way. So certainly it is more economical to, if you can afford it, just buying it or winning it through limited time series is always more economical option. With that being said, let's run through the series itself and see if we find anything odd or unusual or noticeable about this limited time series event. Alright, so starting with tier 1, we got Speed Snap at Hockenheim National, Autocross at Suzuka East, and we got a full Mountain Panorama Circuit Cup single lap. Alright, so we get to check out how this car handles right away at a pretty good sized circuit. So that's kind of cool. And moving on to tier 2, we got Elimination at Silverstone National, Hunter at Brands Hatch, and the cup for tier 2 is going to be at Melbourne. Alright, and it's going to be 2-lap cup with the PR requirement of 30.9, so obviously you do need some upgrades to get through tier 2 as always, so get those first tier upgrades going. They take 1 hour to get through, so something to keep in mind. Let's see, and that was 2-lap cup, 2 laps around Melbourne, a lap at Brands Hatch, and Silverstone National is difficult to play a blockade in elimination, so that's gonna rack up a bit of a mileage on your car. By that I mean more service bars taken out. And of course, I like Mountain Panorama, but it is a large circuit, so that's going to take a few extra service bars off as well. So you might be your car may be in critical condition by the time you reach tier 3. I'm thinking it probably will be. And then here we got a speed record at Formula E Berlin circuit, so that's speed events can be always little iffy when your car is in critical condition, but this is not a speed snap, it's a speed record, so if you can kind of find a spot where you can if you don't mind crashing into a wall, then you can obviously get more length to reach higher speed on the circuit, right? So I think it's doable even when you're in critical condition, the speed record at Berlin. Head-to-head at Daytona, of course, is going to be a rolling start, single lap. And then Cup in Tier 3 is going to be a Bugatti circuit, single lap. PR requirement is 32.2. So this is kind of a mid-size circuit, right? So that should be fun. All right, and then we got Tier 4. We got Endurance at Red Bull Ring National Circuit, and we have a drag race. And the Cup is going to be at Mazda Raceway, 2 laps, and the PR requirement is, as we checked earlier, 33.3. So most likely you're going to need some gold upgrades, possibly, unless you can take advantage of that decimal point glitch. We'll see if it still is there, unless they patched it up. Then, well, then that's that. All right. So, would you be needing a service in Tier 4? Well, drag race is always a question mark, but recently, the drag races, if you have sufficient upgrades, hasn't been too bad as long as you don't, win by huge margin of victory in previous events. So I'm gonna say you probably don't need to service your car until to get through Tier 4. I might eat my words later on when I run through it, but I'm gonna say that for now. Alright, moving on. Tier 5, we got Hunter at Catalunya Grand Prix, Elimination at Spa, and the Cup for Tier 5 is gonna be at Porsche Test Track Long on-road circuit. Alright, so Hunter at Catalunya Grand Prix obviously is gonna be a full lap. Elimination at Spa. Once again, Spa, are there any early spot where you can play a blockade? Possibly Lecon. But that's, yeah. I mean, by this point, your car is solidly in red, so I don't know if it makes any difference whether you want to play a blockade in the eliminations. Anyway, and then Cup is going to be, as I said, the long road circuit 2 laps, and the PR requirement is up to 34.2 now. All right, so Tier 6, we got Speed Snap as Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix circuit. Would you need to service your car for the Speed Snap there? I have a feeling you do. Kota, it's one of the newer tracks, of course. And yeah, Speed Snap there, I feel like in recent limited time series, I feel like we had to service the car to get through that one. Head-to-head, Nürburgring Sprint Circuit, single lap, of course. And the Cup for Tier 6 is going to be at Dubai National. Just 2 quick short laps with a PR requirement of 35.1. Alright, so if I had to service, of course, I would get through head-to-head and Cup first, get the car serviced, so, all the wear and tear you already have built up would be kind of wiped out as you service it. So you start fresh from the Speed Snap, which obviously is a very short event typically. You don't have to race very long, so you can carry majority of your service bars onto Tier 7, so you get the most of your service, so to speak. That'll be my strategy. If you don't want to wait around, that is. So anyway, then we got Tier 7 Endurance at Monza Junior course. And if you've been training your bots properly, by the time you reach Tier 7, your distance should be down to a couple of miles, or like 3 kilometers and change, which takes hardly any time at all to get through. And then we got Hunter at the Brickyard, so that's a full lap road course. Of course, we don't get too many events at the Speedway section. And then we got Cup at Hockenheim Grand Prix, 2 laps with the PR requirement of 36 even. All right, so the second tier gold upgrades should get you through all these tiers. And Tier 8, of course, is a 50% completion tier upon 2 event gold trophies, right? 2 gold trophies. So you don't necessarily have to get through the Cup if you just want to stop at 50% for some weird reason. But don't. That really is, I don't know. I couldn't think of a worse way to waste your gold in the game. Anyway, we got elimination at Silverstone Grand Prix. And it's still, Silverstone is wide. It's difficult to block traffic there. So with elimination, you may have to run a fair distance there for at least a couple of minutes, of course. 2 minutes, 20 seconds, right? And then we got autocross at Dubai Oval Circuit. So that's about half of a lap at oval. You start at the kind of a far end of the opposite end of the finish line, right? And then you just kind of finish at the normal finish line, if I remember. This car, I'm expecting take about 20 seconds to do it. We'll see. Anyway, then we got Cup at the Grand Prix section of Red Bull Ring this time. 2 laps, and the PR requirement is 36.8. Alright, so we're still good with those second tier upgrades. And then tier 9, we got head-to-head at Mount Panorama single lap. And then we got endurance at Suzuka West. So once again, depending on how well you've been training your bots, your distance may vary. And then the Cup for tier 9 is going to be a Daytona motorcycle course. 2 laps, so that's not terribly long. Alright, PR requirement is 37.6, so just under your second tier upgrades PR. So that's fairly typical. You can get through tier 9 and reach tier 10, and by then hopefully you have the third tier racing dollar upgrades completed by this point, because that's what you're gonna need to get through this. Right, so tier 10, we got Speed Snap at Porsche Test Track, Dynamic Circuit. Alright, so that one, let's see, where does that one take place? I want to say it's, yeah, this is the one right, it's like it's super low target typically, right at the base, well, I mean, right after the base of Corkscrew, you know what I mean? So that usually, I mean, we're talking with cars, this class car, I'm anticipating possibly under like somewhere around like 80, 90 kph target speed. So yeah, that's pretty slow. Anyway, and then we got another speed event for tier 10. We got speed record at Catalunya Club Circuit. So of course that's a pretty short circuit. Can you reach the, or can you complete that unserviced? I think so. We'll see. And then the cup here is going to be a Nürburgring Grand Prix. 2 laps with the PR requirement of 38.4. So yeah, this is when you're going to need those final set of third tier upgrades, at least some of them done to get through. And then tier 11, we got the second drag race of the event. It's going to be at Monza, but I don't know if it really makes much of a difference. Especially considering you're racing the same car as your opponent. It's a single car event, right? And then we got autocross at Kota Club Circuit. All right. Autocrosses rarely require you to service your car. And then Cup is at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, 6 laps. All right, some high lap count here with a PR requirement 39.3. All right, so at tier 11, perhaps you might need to service for drag race. I'm not certain. Let's say boldly that we don't need it. Well, we can get through. I mean, by this point, you have 21 upgrades on this car, you know? So I am gonna stay optimistic. Anyway, tier 12, of course, is the 75% completion tier with a single gold trophy here. We got elimination at Suzuka Grand Prix. And Suzuka Grand Prix is actually not a bad circuit to play a blockade early on. So if your car just got serviced, that's a, you know, not too bad to kind of save on your service bars from elimination. And then Speed Snap at Dubai International. All right. I don't remember exactly where that takes place. Oh. All right. Anyway, that might require you to service the car if you don't service it, if you haven't serviced in, you know, if you're running in critical condition. There is a particular Speed Snap at Dubai. I can't remember which one. It might be international circuit that is impossible with the car in red. So we'll find out. But I'm gonna say it is this one. So you might need to get the car serviced in tier 12. So is that the second point that you might need to service the car? Possibly, I think. Anyway, tier 12 Cup is gonna be at Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix. 3 laps. So that's a high lap count for this circuit. And the PR requirement is now breaking through 40 at 40.1. All right, tier 13. We got speed record at the short road circuit, Leipzig Porsche test track. All right. Shouldn't need to service the car for that one. And then we got head-to-head at Daytona motorcycle course, single lap. All right, and then Cup is going to be at Formula E Berlin circuit, 4 laps, and the PR requirement is 40.9. All right, seems like only Formula E circuit that we're gonna get, or we have been getting in recent updates. Seems like it's only Berlin, nowhere else. I like the variety. See, now you're making me miss Hong Kong and New York. I hate New York. Actually, I don't hate New York. I'm just terrible at it. The track that is there a track that I genuinely don't like? That's difficult to say. But I can definitely name a few that I'm terrible at. You know, off the top of my head, Daytona. I suck at Daytona. I cannot get a handle on it. Anyway. Penultimate tier, tier 14. We got Hunter at Hockenheim short. So that's a short single lapper. Endurance at Nürburgring. Mühlenbachschleife, that's another short circuit. And because it's endurance, depending on, you know, your margin of victory, you may get a very short distance or you may end up with a very long distance. So, yeah, plan accordingly. Right. And then Cup is going to be at COTA, Circuit of the Americas National Circuit, 4 laps, and the PR requirement is in 41.8. Alright, so some higher lap count Cup near the end. And then, of course, final tier, tier 15, we got Autocross at Spa, Speed Snap at the 24-hour circuit, Le Mans. Of course, that's all about the Tête Rouge heading into the Mulsanne Strait. And then the Cup is going to be at Catalunya National, as we checked earlier. 5 laps, PR requirement 42.7. So this final Cup is going to be, I'm looking forward to that. I like Catalunya National. I think it's faster track than the Grand Prix circuit, because all the corners are kind of like wide open. They don't have as hard angle corners. I mean, okay, fine. The first one is almost a hairpin. It is a hairpin, fine. But it is shorter, and I believe that's the only hairpin, right? Yeah. So everything else is kind of rounded off. Like it's like everything's a shortcut. So that's a fun track. I like that. So yeah, Catalunya, definitely one of my favorite tracks. You know, what's not to like there? So, there you have it. So, this series open, ready to go right now. So, yeah, I will be getting started on that. So, stay tuned for the next video on my playthrough with the first round of upgrades and so on. So, we'll see you in that next video. But for now, over and out. See you guys later.